What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And if you don't know who I am, I run a Canadian clothing company called K-Bud that's doing well into the six figures in sales. So I help clothing brands like yours get really good results. And in this video here, I'm going to share with you some of the struggles, some of the problems that I'm experiencing within my own clothing brand right now, just to sort of relate to you as a clothing brand owner. And I'm hoping that you just hearing my struggles, the things that I'm dealing with, will allow you to realize that it's not just you that has problems inside of their clothing brand and is trying to work through these challenges, but that every clothing brand owner, every entrepreneur is also going through similar problems. And I think that by sharing this with you, it won't only teach you a few things, but it'll also allow you to feel sort of more comfortable dealing with your own problems inside of your business. So I hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd. If designs are something that you struggle with, I really recommend that you try them out. You post a project on there, designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. These are two new designs that I'm coming out with for my clothing brand that I got made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code apparel when you post a project on Design Crowd. Everybody complains about problems inside of their clothing brand. They're facing this issue. They're going through a challenge. They don't know how to build a website. They don't know how to work Facebook ads. They don't know how to source their clothing for their brand. And all these problems, it can have such a negative tone attached to it. Like it's this bad thing that you're going through. Even the vibe of this whole video just took a huge nosedive because we're talking about problems that you have to overcome and cross in order to become successful. But what's the alternative? Do you really expect that your company is just going to shoot to $1 billion company super easy without having to go through any problems, without having to overcome any hurdles? That's super unrealistic. Without problems, there's no room for growth. You're not able to grow unless you go through problems and you overcome those problems. And so let me lay out for you one of the problems that I'm going through within my own clothing brand right now that kind of just shot up out of nowhere, that, is really hard to anticipate until it comes up. Is in November, I had this absolutely amazing month. I sold out of all my hoodies, all my t-shirts. I had like a $70,000 month. It was absolutely amazing, right? Blew it out of the water during Black Friday into December for the whole Christmas sale, all of that stuff. Then, so you make like $70,000 worth of cash just coming in, right? And it's like, whew, this is great. Then in January, all of a sudden I'm out of stock and I'm frantically trying to replenish the stock that I sold out of in the previous year. And you realize that, okay, I'm going to need to invest even more this time into stock. So that's like a whack load of money leaving your bank account. It's like another $75,000 just going back into stock so that you can replenish your stock even more than where it was at before. You also realize that you need to stock up for spring because you don't just want to restock the products that are selling great, but then you want to come out with some new products, keep it fresh. So there's another $20,000, $30,000 worth of products that you're investing in for spring. Then you've got, your taxes coming up. You've got to pay for your Facebook ads in advance here. You got to pay for your TikTok ads, your advertising, your email marketing, pay an accountant, pay a bookkeeper. And it's funny, there's a saying, when it rains, it pours. That's basically what it feels like. And it can seem while you're going through this that it's a bad thing. But it's not a bad thing. This is just something to overcome. It's a moment in time where you're just going to have to operate a little bit more risky, a little bit more careful at the same time, and just be really smart so that you can get to the next stage where your brand really hits a new level. And this out of stock issue for clothing brands is something that can come out of nowhere. If all of a sudden you start to do really well, that's great, but then it leads to this problem, which is a great problem to have, which is now you're out of stock. You need to make sure that your supply chain is good enough that you can get more stock in fast enough so that when people are coming to your site, everything's not just out of stock for a long time and they just go, oh, screw it, I'm never going to be able to buy any of this stuff. And just as a quick note here, for those of you who are experiencing this or do experience this, there's a great option on Shopify where you can include underneath your products that are out of stock, a little option where people can put in their emails to have you notify them when that product gets put back in stock. And so that was a huge savior for me. As I'm replenishing my stock right now, I just sent out a mass email to everybody who signed up to say, please notify me when this hoodie's back in stock. And that helped save a lot of customers that I would have lost. But the point of this video wasn't to provide you solutions to when you go out of stock. It's to just share with you a recent problem that I went through within my own clothing brand, amongst many other problems that are constantly coming up and fires that you have to put out. And that's one of the realities of being in business. And it can lead to a lot of emotional upswings, emotional downswings right away. And usually when you have a huge high, right on the other side of that, there's some problems that you have to go through. There's something that you have to fix, or there's a little bit of a dip right after. And it kind of challenges you as an entrepreneur. It can make you doubt if you really did hit that new level, or if you're still running things right, and it can just screw with your head a little bit. And what that's teaching you is how to be more grounded, how to view things a little bit more pragmatically, and just sort of see the big picture here so that you don't get all wrapped up in it and think that one little problem that you're going through right now is the end all be all of your clothing brand. Whatever problem you're experiencing right now in your clothing brand, whatever big problem, maybe it's trying to understand Facebook ads, trying to build a website for your brand, trying to launch a brand for the first time, you can get through it. And you don't have to get through it immediately. Maybe it'll take some time, but as long as you focus on the problem, almost view it like it's a boss in a video game. You try it a bunch of times, you die a bunch of times, and slowly you start to figure out the way to get around it, and eventually you're able to beat that boss. It's very similar here with your clothing brand facing problems like Facebook ads, like dealing with how to build a website, how to source clothing for your brand. It just takes that repetition and trying over and over again, and just recognizing that you don't have to view these problems in such a negative light, or as these things that are in your way of success. It's the route to success. It's a good thing. That's the reason why it's there. It's a barrier for you to overcome so that you can reach a whole new evolution as an entrepreneur. And a little nuance to tie into the end of this is that oftentimes in entrepreneurship, the solution to most problems is actually just being a little bit more risk tolerant and increasing your courage a little bit. Sometimes it can feel like an issue's technical and that the solution would be like this technical thing, when it's actually us as entrepreneurs not really wanting to step fully into our role as entrepreneurs. So maybe that's like what I just went through with having to invest in all this inventory and put up all this money up front to invest in my brand. You may hear that from the other side of this camera and think, geez, that's great because everything's rolling. It's super easy to do. It's really not. It's super scary to take that leap of faith and just invest, $80,000 in inventory that you haven't sold yet. Even though you've got a bit of a track record with it, you've got to make those bold moves and really believe in your brand and believe in what you're doing in order to really get to the next step. And so sometimes it's worth thinking outside of the box in that way and asking yourself, am I making bold enough moves here? Is the solution actually way easier, but just a little bit scarier? And maybe if I make that move, that you'll be able to get to the next level as well. So, whatever it is, I'm sure you'll get there. And I just wanted to make this video for you so that you can sort of resonate with another entrepreneur's problems and realize that we're all going through it all the time and that it's not a problem. It's really an opportunity. If you got a lot of value out of this video, please hit the like button for me. It really helps me get these videos out there. And let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass. All you have to do to get access is go to apparelsuccess.com/masterclass. You can watch the whole thing for free. And if you've made it to this point in the video, I want to tell you about the closed Facebook group that we have for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description. Follow that link, join us in the group. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.